Hi,
Okay.
Larry. Hi, Mark. Hi,
Hi there.
Oscar.
That way I
Hi,
won't
Katie.
forget.
Now everybody's here.
Well, Barry won't be here, so
Oh,
he's
yeah.
he's on the
Sorry.
road. He's got 4 shows.
Oh yeah, 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. I've got 4 more this year. I've got St. James, Memphis, Pensacola, then St. Armand's.
Pensacola is one of my all-time favorite shows. I just loved it.
We've done
I'm
really well.
sorry. In
It,
that show.
it's a good you know time to get our van or vehicle down to Florida, so we can hit that one on the way to St. Armand's. It's been working out pretty good.
Well, I like staying out at the beach. We did a Verbo out there right on the water. Oh, and all the good restaurants in Pensacola. Oh, and I made money. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's a
that
double
covers
win.
all the important things.
Yeah, I think we stay out at the beach somewhere. I don't know, Paula does all that, but I know that there's better restaurants out there for sure.
Well, my favorite is the one that's really close to the park, whose name
Well,
I can't remember.
there's some right downtown there where they have the banquet every year at a restaurant right a couple blocks from the park.
Right. It's not that one, but it's the one they're known for their shrimp and grits,
Ah,
which I dearly love. So,
I love, but I became allergic to shellfish when I was about 45.
oh,
So
not fair.
I know. I figure I just ate all my allotment.
You ate your lifetime supply early.
I ate my allotment, yeah, and they cut me off.
That happened to me too.
Really? You became allergic?
Did it really?
First shellfish and then seafood in general.
Ooh, I can
Oh,
still do
oh, that
stew,
would
but
be
yeah,
So
that would even be worse.
that would be hard. Yeah,
it's not
that'd be
that hard,
tough.
Bonnie. You get used to.
Oh, but they're some of my favorite things.
I
Yeah.
know. Dinner with people and they order it and it's sitting there and you're looking at it going,
Yep.
ugh. So, what's the jewelry news? I haven't been on here in a while. What's been going on?
Same thing, different day. Nothing special.
Nothing special.
Nothing is special.
Um, well, next year's an election year. What do you guys think about that?
I
As
don't know
far
what
as
to think about it yet. I need to finish this year first and then I worry about next year.
Yep.
I think we're gonna kind of lay low next year because it's an election year.
No, I go in full throw. Like if I can do 50 shows, I will do 50 shows.
Whoa,
Uh,
no,
Oscar.
we've been cutting. We only are going to have a total of 20 this year. Next year, maybe we'll only do a dozen. I'm afraid of the election year. I just think that that's always a pro. It seems like people are a little more hesitant to buy.
It's always a weird year as far
Yeah,
as sales.
that's
But
what
you
I
know, the
think.
good thing for me, the less artists are out there, the better it is for me. So do less show by all means. There's more of the pipe for me.
Well,
I'm being honest.
being a very positive person lately. That's good
I
thinking.
don't, have no, I don't have no choice. I'm dealing with real problems. I chose the least of my problems.
Yeah, yeah. The world is crazy. Are you doing all right, Oscar?
No, I'm doing fine. You know, it's just medical stuff. You know, you're
Yeah.
getting old, you start getting to do more maintenance in your body.
Yeah.
Oh, give it a few years. It gets worse. You can go from being perfectly healthy to all kinds of weird things happen.
The half dead.
I did
Yeah.
physical therapy today for a whole hour today. And I
That's
was
excellent.
cursing the therapist.
That's okay. It's going to help.
I told him they better help me. If not, going to be 3 minutes appointed on him.
I
well,
love
Oh.
physical therapy. That's love it. Love it. Love it.
well,
It helps. So just to let you know, they let me apply to Spheres with both applications. I just submitted it, and they still allow me to apply to Fort Worth with both applications. Sure, you could let me do the same thing. So I'm assuming that Des Moines, St. Louis next year, I'm going to be able to do the same thing. There were some people were asking what happened if I get into with both categories. I will tell you, depending on the show, I might do both tents. But if I need to pick and choose, I will go with the color stuff because I know that's what it sells.
Yeah, but
The
you're
other one is
applying in the
more-
same category.
What?
It's all the same category, right?
They
Except
told
that,
me
yeah,
you
if
cannot
you don't
apply.
get in, if his work is, these are so different. And if he gets in with his color work and not with his black and white, he can't bring his black and white. It didn't get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if he gets in with just the black and white, not the color,
So I bring just
He
the black
can't-
and white.
Yeah,
Then
he
you-
can't bring the color.
right, but he won't make any money either.
Uh,
You don't know that. I think
No,
that you're going to
you don't.
can make money. You're gonna say that. I think that I don't expect to make $10,000 in a show, but I don't expect to lose money neither. You know.
You will find
So
your own strong audience for the black and white work because
yeah,
it is
I think
it's so strong.
it's different market, and that's one of the things that annoys me the most about the conversation that we having lately about the with the photographers and the other mediums. It's like whoever buys photography doesn't buy paintings and well, let me rephrase that. Person that buy, I know people that only buy paintings and they will not touch photography, and there are people that buy photography. Usually, in my case, they put it in the bathrooms or someplace else, but they never put it in the main rooms. And the people that buy black and white photography doesn't buy color photography, etc., etc. So it's really particular. The thing is like there's not that many. I think in the
it's
25 years that I've been doing, only see Kyle Spears, James Cole, Henry, and Christine. Those are the only people that do people photography that I see on the regular basis. Everybody else does.
Emerson, I don't know if he does shows anymore.
Emerson doesn't do shows anymore. I don't see Emerson in almost
Really?
10 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Almost 10 years. I don't see Emerson. Basically, that's why Christine filled up that hole. Christine took basically all his clients. Because if you put Christine's work and Emerson's work, you cannot apart one from another one. They look almost the same.
I had Kyle Spears next to me at Carmel. I'll tell you what, Oscar, all of your work is better than anything I saw in his booth.
Hey,
I mean,
I've been next to him, and the people that buy his work don't buy my work. So,
his
Oh,
stuff
I-
looks
with
like
that shows,
I
it
love
looks like
Kyle's work.
I thought he was on vacation and took some snapshots. That's what it looked like to me. It's nothing looked like it was prepared. Nothing looked set up. Nothing looked like he waited for the sun to be in the right place. It was just, I'm in this spot. Look at this cool scene. I took a picture of it.
but that's why his work is. He's more like a Cartier Bresson. That's more what he tries to be. So it's a different style. It's not like what Henry does is his stage now. The message he wants to do, and Christine and James try to capture a moment, and and Kyle just photograph whatever's in front of him. So
Yes, that's what it looked like. It looked like a bunch of vacation pictures. I'm sorry.
well, more power to him. I love the guy.
Yeah, I don't think of him as vacation pictures,
Yeah.
but I
I'm
haven't
not-
seen him in a couple of years. I like his work.
I had a little issue with double applying. I put in 2 apps for Winter Park, not knowing that you couldn't apply. It said you could do 2 apps, but I didn't read the part about separate categories.
Oh,
Yeah,
So I put in 2 apps and they sent me a text and they said, sorry, you can only apply in one with 1 app. Which one do you want to use, this one or that one? And by the way, we're going to keep your $45 for the second app.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That is
ooh,
true.
Yeah, I
That
didn't think
is true.
it was right, but I messed up. I guess it's my fault, but yeah, yeah. So they
that's the
kept.
penalty for not reading it carefully enough. I don't know.
That's it.
That's interesting.
No, that's what I was reading, and if Camille would have told me last week she mentioned just come to the show, and that's what I've been doing. Like at the shows that it doesn't say clearly in the application forms,
Uh-huh.
I've been contacting them directly to see if it is allowed. And the 2 shows, the Fort Myers, Fort Worth told me yes, and Ashfield told me yes. Especially if they're totally different, they don't look like each other.
Right.
So
But
Mark,
that's
how
the
did
key.
Mark, how did you differentiate between the two applications?
one app we used one body of work that I create, and the other app we used another body of work. But that's what kind of bothers me when you say that if Oscar gets in with colors, he can't bring black and white. I mean, as a jeweler, gosh, I mean, most jewelers, you have pendants, you have earrings, you have a style over here that you work a little deal with, and you got another style, but we bring it all. I mean, I've never not brought work because it wasn't in the app. I mean, there's only 3 photographs or 5 or whatever. So with the photographer, you're telling me they can't show it. Let's say they show all pictures of animals and they can't bring a landscape.
No,
Well,
they
if you
shouldn't.
look at Oscar's work, you couldn't be any more different in the
Okay.
two styles. I don't even know how you'd put them in the same booth because
No, you can't.
one makes you really think and tugs at your heart, and the other makes you happy.
Okay. So it's totally different. I guess if I was going
Totally.
to work in like sterling silver and then in gold, maybe I could
Nope.
see that. Yeah.
Nope. Not even close to how different Oscars
Oscar.
are. Oscar,
Okay.
can you put up a couple?
You haven't seen your new stuff.
It's not new. It's just been a work in progress, like 3 years. I don't know if I can do it. Do you still have my app, Larry? That's easier.
Maybe.
Make him work.
Um, I need my glasses.
And by the way, Larry, I love you to death. Just to let you know.
Do you remember what number you were?
I think I was maybe 4 or 5.
Oh, was this the mock jury the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many people do you get to sign up for that? How many?
About 20 or so.
Uh-huh.
The first one was like 43,
Wow.
and the rest have been around 20, between 20 and 25.
Well, that's good. I mean, I think that's good. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, how do
I'd
you
like to
judge?
see, I'd like to see more people avail
Yeah.
themselves of this.
Yeah, they really need it.
Yeah.
I know that you've, put links on the group, so I guess people are seeing it on
Okay,
my group.
here's one of Oscar's.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
I
what
kind of
you would
remember.
probably know.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are the ones I kind of remember.
And here's his other one.
Ah, yeah, totally
You
different.
understand now?
Yeah, I get it. And the booth even looks so much different, Um, yeah, huge difference.
Yep.
I like the black and white stuff, Oscar. That's like you said, it makes you think, makes you wonder.
Yeah, we see what happens.
I can't
Thank you.
wait to find out.
Yeah.
That was more Amy Landsberg pushing me to do that more
Hello.
than anything else.
Well, good. I'm glad
Oscar,
somebody pushed.
Oscar, are you doing St. James this weekend?
Oh no. I don't
What
that,
was
that
that?
show. I don't touch that show.
No?
Okay,
They can
this is
give me
my first time to do
The
it.
booth. They can give me the buffet for free, and then I will still not go.
This is
Oh,
probably my,
dear. Well,
this is my
hopefully it
18th
works better for me.
I think this is my 18th year. And I do a double booth, same spot. I love that show. I kill it. I think part of why I kill it is most of the high-end jewelers have given up on it and walked away. So there's much competition. So, there's always somebody going to buy. And the less people there are that have, high-end jewelry, the better off I am.
Which one are you in?
I'm in the main show. I'm 307, 308. So I'm just off of Magnolia, about 8-10 booths in on the
I
street.
don't think I've met you before. Hi,
I'm
Mark. I'm
Mark.
Laura. I'm on, it said Mark, right? Mark Grosser?
Yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
one that has the art fair page? Yeah, I've been on that page for several years.
And who am I talking to? Who?
I'm Laura Walker. I do the really the kind of three-dimensional wacky animals. I don't know. You might not remember. I don't know that I've shown them on there much. But
Are you?
anyhow,
You're coming to St. James though?
yes, I've been raising kids all this time and trying to stay within 3 to 5 hours of home. And so my baby's 18, and I'm letting myself travel farther now.
You're from the South.
Congratulations.
Yeah, North Alabama. Thank you. It's a new era of life, right?
Which part of the show did you get in? Where are you showing?
Fourth Street.
Okay, 4th Street's
I
good.
knew I wanted 4th or 3rd. I didn't want to have to do the internal working your way out for several years of the court show.
People talk about that,
So
but
those are my.
they fixed that a lot. They put more entrances in. They put down a matted sort of walkway now, so you can visually tell that's what it's supposed to be. And there's a
That's
couple
good.
of me that actually request to be in the same spot in the court every year.
Well,
Yeah.
My thought behind it also is a lot of people, it's got the reputation of having the newer artists there. And there's some customers that specifically go in there to see the newer artists. You know, they
You
seem to be,
know, if I ever do
Yeah.
it again, I will do the same thing you do in the 3rd Street or the 4th Street. I will not touch the original show.
Yeah.
I got a rule. If you have a show and you have a spot that you should not have, I will not touch that show ever again.
Does
So it
does
didn't go
the
well for you
original
then.
does the original St. James still sell burgoo in their food area?
Oh,
I
what
don't
is that?
no, I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Oh, it's a Kentucky soup, stew, veggies and so on. Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah, no, they've got just all your normal, fair kind of food. There's nothing
Oh,
special for.
they used to have really interesting food.
That's how Broad Ripple used to be. Broad Ripple used to have local restaurants and some really cool place, steakhouse and whatever. They've gone to just all fair food also.
I love when the local restaurants get involved.
Oh yeah, gives it a whole different class.
Yep.
You know, the things like they're charging at those people an arm and leg to be in the show also.
They do.
So, you know, and they in some show they also take a cut of the sales. So
Yeah,
I don't blame them for not being there.
I think Broad Ripple has set up where the beer company provides them all the beer for free, and then they sell it. So they have to provide the labor, but they keep all the money.
That's wrong in so many levels.
Beer.
No, it's taking all the profit. You know, I guess it's free promotion, but
Yeah, it gives the beer company free advertising, but then because Broad Ripple keeps all the money, they actually put more emphasis now on beer sales by wanting more music, stay open later at night, all the things that beer drinkers want instead of things that art patrons want.
Also, if it's a nonprofit group they're donating it to, they get a tax write-off for it.
Right, yeah, they get the tax write-off. That's right.
That's true.
I
But
don't think that works so well sometimes.
Yeah, I stopped doing it a while back, but I've watched that show go from such a great show to just being a below average show, really.
Which show is that?
Broad
Broad
Ripple
Ripple.
in Indianapolis.
Okay.
That's like that show you only use it if you don't have nothing else to fill out the gap, and you are, I would say, 4 hours radius from the show. If not, it's not worth doing, to be honest with you. The risk is too high. You can do really well, you can do really, really bad. And I mean really, really bad.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
I'm less than 5 miles, and I stopped doing it, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago. And it was my first art fair ever.
I think the last time I did it, they were charging, I think it was $30 to get in each day.
Door, yeah. And they wouldn't give
Yeah.
outs for the next day. You had to pay again.
Yeah, you have to pay it again.
Lord.
Corey, you
Yeah.
look so happy. You're in the clouds.
What?
You're in the clouds.
Yeah. Clouds.
Do like this.
Oh, up here?
And the other one?
The other one looks
yeah.
like this.
Oh.
What the heck?
Forgot. I'm sorry.
Would you have a surgery or an accident?
I had surgery on my thumb so I can use my hand.
What was going on? Did you break it or
Nope, just wear and tear.
cartilage?
No cartilage at a joint in my thumb. They took a bone out, moved a bunch of tendons around,
Oof.
put in a plastic spacer, fused a joint.
Holy
Yeah.
moly. Sounds like you had a major one done.
So what you do with the other hand?
Hopefully not ever doing the other hand. I don't want to do this again.
Enough's enough.
Yep.
Douglas put something today in Facebook saying that he went to see his doctor for his foot, everything is okay. And I go like, oh, so when you do it the other foot, and so like, I don't want to go through the pain again, but before the next 2 years to retire. Oh, so I guess next fall that it is. So the poor guy. So the year after election, he's going to be crabby, just to let you know.
He took a marker and put marks on for incisions, 2 on my thumb, and then he made small marks halfway up to my elbow where he's
Oh my
going to rearrange tendons.
Oof.
Ugh. Yeah.
It's all wrapped up and in a cast. I can't see anything. So
When did you have that done?
Thursday.
Oh. Well, hope it comes out 100%.
Then today I looked at Square and looked at my sales for the month, and you know what? I did more sales at one show at St. Louis last year than I did at St. Louis and Plaza combined this year.
Oh, wow.
Really?
How was Plaza?
It was extra difficult because I had to stop taking some supplements that help keep a clear head, and we had storms with no warnings from the show. They literally came around. We had a severe thunderstorm. The storm we had Saturday morning was severe. And they came around 20 minutes, 30 minutes after the show. A security guy came around 20, 30 minutes after the storm and gave us a little Xerox sheet that reads something about there could be possible weather. There is just this real generic thing about severe weather.
Oh, gee. Karen.
Great.
And we dodged a bullet that afternoon because there was another severe storm headed right for us that at the last minute veered south, and we just barely got a little sprinkle. But that storm went on to drop a tornado later, about an hour after that.
Holy cow.
Not on you.
No, it went to the south and dropped a tornado over south and east over outside the Kansas City area in Missouri. Sunday was great. Lots of people. I mean, I had people until it really started pouring rain. There were people in my booth, and they left. And as soon as it stopped raining, there were people back. I had a hard time getting things open back up because there were so many people in the booth after the storm.
That's good. You just want them all to buy.
Yeah, well, a lot of them did buy, but they all bought
Good.
small.
That's what I heard a lot of people saying. I think that Derek Olson told me it was just prints. Jeff Mellor told me it was mostly prints, and they didn't sell anything from the walls. Barely anything. So, but they would definitely, if they got affected, they both will go back in a blink of an eye.
They would or wouldn't.
They would. So, but just say that
it's really difficult doing a show like St. Louis where the artists are obviously the main priority, and taking care of the artists is a priority, to doing a show where, yeah, it's an art show, but I'm not even sure the artists are in the top 10 on the priorities list. And then they do
Yeah.
something like have a storm roll through with no warning, no nothing. Yeah, just don't understand it.
You know, the things like until they don't get, until something bad don't happen and somebody gets sued by a lot of money, then they're not going to do anything like that. I think that the scare that they have in Indianapolis a few years ago, where the stage came down and everybody got freaked out and they start suing. That's what people in Indiana, as soon there comes a storm, now they cancel the show or they do something about it really obvious because they got sued. But to something like that doesn't happen over there, they're not going to care. That's
Yeah,
how
I had
people.
a friend that died in that one, Oscar.
Oh,
Oh,
You know.
my.
Yeah, it was horrible.
They are more concerned about making their loan payments. They just
Yeah.
missed a huge loan payment. So they're more concerned about that than, you know, running an art show.
They
Yeah.
own malls. I mean, they own a mall here in Grand Rapids. I mean,
Taubman,
this is, yeah, this is
yeah,
not,
they missed a massive loan payment on the plaza. They just bought it a few years ago. The longtime owners sold it. I guess they saw the handwriting on the wall.
Well, you know what? I went yesterday to my Office Depot in here in Hyde Park. That Office Depot's been open for at least, I would say, as long as I've been in the United States. And yesterday I walked in there just to pick up lamination pouches, and I see a big sign, store closing. And I'm going like, ouch. And that's the only official office supply store I can send the entire southeast corner of Hyde Park of Chicago. Like the next closest thing is Staples in the Loop by the University of Illinois.
Well,
I think the retailers are going downhill little by little.
our Office Depot closed over a year ago. So, you know, there
well,
is Staples about a block away, but still, you know,
I think Office Max bought all the Office Depots, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't
And
know.
they've been
I
closing
know
the
they
Office
merged.
Depots. Are they merged?
They
They
merged.
merged.
Yeah, they're closing some, and it's not that they're closing all of one or the other. They're just looking at where they have duplicate locations, and I think closing the one that did the least number of sales.
Yeah. And things are changing, you know. It's a lot of, most of people don't, when you got to Office Depot, you was going for paper,
Ink cartridges.
notebooks and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gone because some people just work in the computer now. So
Well, I get all that online. You know,
you know,
I can
yeah.
have it. I can have it the next day. So,
Well,
well,
I just don't like to buy some things online. It's just like I got Amazon Prime, but every time I order something, I'm hoping that the stuff gets in here, it's the right thing, and then I hope that somebody doesn't borrow it, because that's the biggest problem that we have down here in the South Side. It's not crime like that. It's more people going after the mail. Like you cannot leave your package. You cannot tell the people on Amazon to leave it wide middle, because anybody can grab it. So you have to put it like in the cubby area away, so people cannot see it. But that's, if you go to like the Ring advertising, the Ring app, the biggest complaint that they have in the South Side is mail stolen. That's the number one complaint. No shooting, no burglary, no borrowing cars, stealing mail.
I had a first one happen. I had FedEx Ground deliver a package to the wrong place. And I thought my wife had picked it up. My wife didn't know it was coming. Went to look for it, couldn't find it, tracked it, and picture of a, package left by a gate and a fence. I don't have any gates and I don't have any fences.
Huh.
And then I found out after I raised hell about it the next day after the case was closed and they didn't tell me about it. In cases like that, they just send a message to the driver and the driver didn't even bother to respond. He didn't bother to look for it. Just didn't respond. So the driver's not out anything if they don't find it. They don't even have to look for it.
Well, we
and,
get
and
HelloFresh, which is a meal delivery thing where they send you the ingredients and you make the meals. And it comes every Tuesday. We've gotten it for years. All of a sudden, they started delivering them to a totally different street, same house number, but it went to a business on a different street. And the first time, the guy that owns the business brought us the package. And I called them and, finally got to talk to the driver. And he said when their mapping software pulls it up, even though it's a different street name, that's where the mapping software tells them to deliver it. And they deliver it there. And if somebody objects, they go, well, it's not my problem. This is where I was supposed to deliver it. It's like, give me a break. And it's perishable. So it's not like I can go pick it up the next day or something. Very frustrating.
Yeah,
you
then
know what?
FedEx told me
No.
that they had contacted the shipper to let them know that it was lost and gone. They hadn't.
And you know who suffers in that? The merchant.
Yeah,
If
did
it-
you
they
ever
will
get whatever you ordered, Court?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it was bags. I needed them for the plaza. And I got them, 3 days after I got home.
Oh,
I had to call and they reshipped them. Luckily I was able, I didn't need them. I mean, I had maybe 8 or 10 left, so I didn't need them. And Brian Richards brought a handful over for us to use if I needed them, which I took back, so I don't need them. But now that I'm sitting on bags, $50 worth of bags that I don't need for 6 months.
yeah.
Well, sounds like you wouldn't have needed them even if you had them.
Well, yeah. So,
Well,
Hey, I
okay.
just got a call from FedEx. They were supposed to pick up a package today. It turns out my first name was the first address, my last name was the second address. And I had logged in through my account, so I don't know how they screwed that up.
Crazy.
Well-
Well, does anybody have questions on
The mock jury,
the
there's
mock
somebody here
jury?
from last week. Well, Laura's here.
Laura, do you have
I
any
had,
questions?
Well, I figured out how to put my jury images on black backgrounds. I was quite proud of myself for figuring that out. And I shortened my statement.
Artist statement. Yep.
Yes.
Good.
I was telling Larry that I contacted all the outstanding applications that I have right now and asked them to open them back up. And 2 of them already have, and I cannot change my images. So I'm gonna tomorrow call Zap and try to figure that out. They're the image I'm using all I did in my portfolio was replace those images with the new ones. So maybe that's the thing that has caused some sort of glitch, but they're not automatically putting the new ones there. Anyhow, I can't figure it out.
You
But
can,
yeah, anything past this would just be, like on the actual work itself.
You can call Zap now. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. They're in Denver, so.
Yeah, well, I have a list of unpleasant things to do tomorrow, and that's one of them. So I've already done my unpleasant things today. So we're done with those today.
That's a good way to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I need to do is call the ACA, and I'm not looking forward to deal with that.
Do you have a claim?
No, I need to file a better health insurance plan for next year. I cannot deal with this. plan
Wrong
that I
kind of
have.
insurance.
Health insurance. I'm
Oscar,
looking for. I need to get.
look for someone to help you. They have the ambassadors. I don't know what they are,
They're-
but
It's free.
I got the best help actually by calling healthcare.gov.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going
And
to call them.
somebody got me a plan for a whole lot less money with a whole lot better coverage. I got a platinum plan and I paid for silver or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're very helpful.
Yeah, and they're free because they get their
Yes.
commission from the insurance companies.
Well, this was the healthcare.gov
Okay.
people.
Yeah,
So
there are
I
people that
wish
are,
you luck.
yeah, there's special training that people have to go through to do that, Bonnie.
Yes.
I had somebody try and pay me to go through the training because I had, navigated the system when it first came out.
Yeah. Well, I did it on my own because they didn't have those things back in the beginning. But a lot of people have used both for Medicare and for healthcare.gov have used the whatever they're called. But the private people that they're free, and as you said,
Oscar, there's one that I looked at. I don't know if they do. I think they do stuff other than Medicare, but it was called ehealth.com.
Okay.
And I think they might do regular health care insurance too. But I think it's pretty sure it's ehealth.com. But when I went there on my Medicare stuff, I was able to type in some things and it returned, all my options. So it was helpful. And they may have somebody to talk to as well.
I'm going to look because the problem that I have, it's not that I'm not getting the service. It's the amount of red tape that you have to go through is insane. Because this is the one that kills me. So the flu shot cost me $25 in the pharmacy. It's free if I go to see my doctor, but to see my doctor cost me $35.
stupid.
Did you wait a second?
Costco has them for 19.
I mean, I get
Yeah.
mine for free, but maybe that's because I'm a senior.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But always
that's the thing.
before. I always got them for free before. But
Yeah.
again, it depends on your insurance.
Yeah, I can get it for free, but like I said, you have to pay the doctor visit. My copay for the doctor is $35. So I
Yeah.
might as well just pay for the
Yeah,
the
did
flu
you call
shot.
the doctor's office and see if you could get the flu shot without having to pay a copay? Because the
Oh,
doctor
they
doesn't
don't do
give you
that.
the shot.
It's the doctor. It's the only one that does it.
Oh, geez.
I would call and ask.
I'm going to see Valerie anyhow by the end of December, but I don't want to see her before that, and I don't know if I can wait that long. So
Well, I get mine at Walgreens. I mean, I always have. My doctor's office said, hey, that's a good place to go.
Yeah, I'm not going to be setting too much. I'm not going to be setting foot in Walgreens for a while after what they did to me last week.
Yeah. Well, we have a nicer one by me.
Yeah.
And
The
the choices are CVS, Costco, or
Well, Costco was 19 here for flu shots. And they said if you have any insurance, it probably is covered and would be free. So if
yeah,
you
but I tried last year.
that might be.
I'm going to try to get the COVID and the flu shot done. I should do it Friday before I leave for Philadelphia, but we'll see.
COVID might take a while because there's like a backlog or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got both my COVID and flu shots last Friday or Thursday. One in each arm.
They can put both in the same hour. I don't care. Preferably the left
They
arm.
charge
Cannot do
less
both
if you only use one arm.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to leave.
Bonnie,
Have a-
next Tuesday.
Yep. I'll
Thank
be
you for
here.
coming. Thank you for your work last week. We appreciate it.
Certainly. Happy to
Yeah.
help. Take care,
see you
everyone.
later, Bonnie.
Yeah, she's gone. So Laura, she's muted. Oh my goodness.
He can still hear you.
Oh, I know. Are you doing? What St. James score you doing?
Laura,
Oh,
What's the
sorry, I stepped away. I was making popcorn. What's the question?
pass the
What's St.
popcorn.
What St. James score you doing?
What games am I doing?
St.
No.
James.
St. James,
three.
which show?
Oh, I'm doing
Fourth.
4th Street. Yeah. I've
They-
always been too intimidated by this show to try it. It's a 8, 7, 5, 6 hours away from me. If I count that, I lose an hour. So the distance isn't too bad, but just it's so big. So anyhow, but I'm staying with a college friend, so I don't have to pay for a place to stay.
That was the only reason Plaza wasn't a disaster, is we had a place to stay.
Yeah, it's really nice when that's available. Fortunately, I have college friends all over the country.
Yeah, we have a place in Louisville to stay with a friend also. It doesn't hurt also that she's a chef and she loves to cook
Oh.
for us.
Nice. Yeah, my friend
Right?
asked if she could cook for me, and I'm like, nothing. I try to be like, I'll bring everything. I'll take you out to eat for a dinner. Just thank you. Just thank you, thank you.
I agree, but she's already called. She called yesterday making a menu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I mean, if they insist, what can you do?
Right? She enjoys it. That's her thing. So
Yeah, I get
not
it.
gonna stop her.
So do y'all have any tips for St. James for surviving it?
It's just another show.
Did you
There's
say a
lot-
dumb question?
There's a lots and lots of people, and they'll just be streaming by the front of your booth, and the ones who are interested will stop. So don't worry about it when you just see these streams of people walking by. It's constant.
So somehow they'll be able to elbow their way through.
They do. They figure it
I-
out.
I feel like we have to really emphasize, like, I'm not great at closing sales. I'm really good at opening conversations and like making connections, but I've got to focus more on, hey guys, you don't want to walk this show and have to come back again. You need to make your decision now. But I
That
don't know.
usually doesn't work, just to let you know.
I
Yeah.
don't know what works. I'm still trying to learn what works.
The best thing I can say about sales, and the one thing that artists don't do enough of, is ask for the sale.
That's
after you-
that's what an older artist told me, and I've read books and I try. Keep going. I'm listening.
Just keep that in your mind, as your conversation goes with a customer or a potential customer. you know, a lot of times I go, okay, well, let's just do it, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? But you
Yeah.
have, yeah.
You
That
know,
seems
the other thing that I do, if they get a little bit cold feet, you have to say, well, the only thing I can ask of you is that you consider it. You know, just keeping me in mind, making the decision. Just, you know, that's what I try to do. I just try always put it to on the plate. Oops.
Well, and also, I've been doing more B-level shows all this time. I started Fairhope and I started Great Gulf Coast. And so this is like maybe my third A-ish level. I don't know if y'all even consider this to be an A-level show, but it's definitely a step up from what I've been doing. So I'm
I'm
hoping
gonna
that
say if you do well in Fairhope, you can do well in anywhere. I'm gonna
I
tell you
don't
that.
do well at Fairhope because I've always been on an off street. I'm not going to do it again unless I get on the main street. Like, I don't feel like it's worth all the effort. I've always been on De La something.
Which one of the two Fairhope you do? The commercial
I've
one
been
or
in
the one with the
I've been in the arts and crafts, and I'm not going to do them again because I did them 3 or 4 years and they didn't move me onto section or Fairhope. And even though I requested multiple times, and they put a couple of my friends who were new to the show on Fairhope Avenue, and that just really irritated me. Like, I've been with you. Come on now, put me in a good spot. So I'll only do the other one if I make it into it now.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
so you'll be at Pensacola also?
Yep,
Okay.
I'm on
What about-
Picasso. I'm always near
Ah.
that great sushi restaurant. Well, I mean, this is my third time to do it, so always.
Yeah, we're on the street too, but I forget which side.
Something
What
with a
about
blue,
Memphis?
Dharma
If you have-
blue, Dharma blue.
Since you're Alabama, do you do that Memphis River Walk?
I've only gotten on their wait list multiple
Okay.
times. I'm on it again this year. I'm tempted. Oscar told me they don't take you off the wait list. I'm tempted to just tell them, hey, I can show up the day before.
I've
I've got
gotten in,
a college friend there too.
I think we've gotten in 3 or 4 years and we've always canceled, but we're going to do it this year.
Yeah.
I
It
was just
tends to have a lot of bad weather. It seems like it rained a couple of years at that show and at Pink Palace. I did Pink Palace, but it wasn't really great, so I've stopped doing it.
I did it
I'm
long,
going
long
to
time.
Virginia Beach. Oh,
I'd
What's
love
that,
to go to
Oscar?
Virginia.
I'm going to
just not-
Virginia Beach instead.
So
That's
most of I'm trying to do are new to me. All the things I'm applying for in the spring. It's out of my comfort zone for sure.
We did Virginia Beach for 15 years. And then after COVID, they moved it till October. And I don't know, just doesn't, when it was in June, we could take the grandkids, spend the whole week and have a good time. And, nobody really wants to go to the beach in June. I mean, in October. It just
I'd rather
doesn't.
be there in October myself. It's too
Really?
hot. It's so
Well,
hot.
it was the first week. School was out. People were there opening their summer homes. There was a convention in town with doctors and, there was a lot going on. And in October, the ghost town over there.
Well, I will let you know because I'm just pairing up with Fritingham Square. So, because it's only 3 hours drive from one show to the other one.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't have to be, because that's what I'm not doing Cottonwood, because I don't want to drive to Texas and then drive all the way back home and then keep driving to Philadelphia. That doesn't sound, even if I like to drive, that sounds like a little bit too much for me.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that this combo works. If it works, I will not apply to Memphis anymore. So, because I get waitlisted every year, no matter what I apply. So I just got tired. So
So you're not doing Memphis this year then?
no, I got waitlisted again.
So tell me about it. What is it, a good show? We were only picking it up since it's halfway to Pensacola. I figured it was, half of my drive to get down to Florida.
Some people say that's really good. Some other people, it's like any other show. I have people they make a killing, and other ones say that it's just a mediocre show. So,
Guess I'll find out.
but yep,
It's really the only way
it's really
you got to try it.
that's one thing that I learned. I do the show and see what happens because I find out most of the times, only if the person had something. If you know that that person is selling the work, and those his client buying your work and his work, that's the only time that you know if you can judge that the show is good for you. So this year, I was joking with Josh Miller because we were just going over the shows, and we find out that every time I have a good show, he has a bad show, and when he has a good show, I have a bad show. So it's just bizarre. It's never been like we both have good shows at the same time. If we're doing the show together, and our works are day and night.
Sounds
So,
like witchcraft.
yeah. So we don't know, but that's what's going on. Oh my goodness.
Sorry,
Kind of like that house behind you, Larry. That looks like witchcraft too.
The unicorn?
Yeah. That's pretty funny. I saw that on Facebook earlier.
All right, folks, I'm going to take off because I got my Zoom tonight and I'm going to got some things to do before I do it. Maybe take a nap again. So
Be
All right.
good.
hopefully see
All
some of you
right.
later this evening.
Good seeing you.
I think I'm gonna go eat. I'll see you guys next week if I can make it.
Yeah. I was
All
thinking
right,
same.
Laura.
See you
Okay.
at St. James.
Yeah, fingers crossed we do well. I'm sure you will, but fingers crossed I learn how. So-
You'll make it. You got positive attitude. It'll work.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Now
Just
that,
Larry and
now
I,
that she's gone, we could talk about her.
No,
Hey,
I'm
I-
talking about anything.
talk
With
about.
with the right traffic, she should have killer shows.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Patrick Bennis and his new Picasso art? Do you know what I'm talking about, Larry?
Ooh,
No,
no.
he
guy-
was the idiot that ran Naples.
Yeah, the guy that ruined Fifth Avenue
Right.
is now trying, and he went over to Mercado, got Richard Sullivan removed and took that position, and he's making the show bigger and putting it down the street instead of in the grass where Richard had it. Richard told me that the fire marshal prevented him from ever putting it in the street because there's not enough room for a fire truck to get through. Howard called me about it. He's afraid that a lot of artists are going to sign up with this guy, and then it's just going to be no advertising and all the other things that can go wrong. I don't know. I know that the guy personally treated a lot of artists really badly over the whole Naples situation. So, yeah,
Why does he feel like he has to be a show director?
I think he has no other life skills. Everything he's ever tried, he's failed. So he went to Naples, hired him, paid him 100,000 plus. They kept him for 8 months, and then they fired him too. He is just an arrogant know-it-all who knows nothing. It's just really amazing. You knew about him making a fake profile, getting into Art Fair Lounge,
Yeah.
and then blackballing some artists that said things, and that was a mess.
So which show is running now?
One, it's going to be at Mercado in Estero. It's either Estero or North Naples. I'm not sure which. It's a shopping plaza. I think it's February, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. He's a piece of work. I can tell you that for sure.
You know the problem with that whole area, they got too many shows.
They got a lot.
Yeah,
They got a lot. That's for sure.
too
But
many
yeah,
shows in there. You got Naples, New York, just talking the major shows, right? And the month of January, you got Naples New Year, then you got Bonita, then you got Naples Invitational. And they all maybe 30 minutes apart from each other.
yeah. But the problem now is Naples New Year's will no longer be on the street. They're going to put all
Yeah,
three of the shows back in that park. I saw the map. It's a new layout. They're not using the street like they did in Naples National. They use the street on the east end of the park. Now they're moving the street to the west end of the park, where it's basically housing. On the other end of the park, you had a parking garage. And it's just going to be very disjointed, especially inside of the park itself. There's some booths that will never get seen with the map the way it's laid out. There's people will get in there and they'll get confused and they won't know what they saw.
Did you get my email?
What's that?
He's on.
no, he's talking to his dog.
Oh.
No, I just curious to see how I got rejected from Naples New Year's year, and which I'm not surprised. But I'm curious to see how that show works out. And same kind of way, I'm kind of glad that because Naples National is the one that they usually do in the park, right?
Correct. Yes,
And that's the weakest one of the three.
it was. Yes.
So I'm going to see how that works out. Maybe they eliminated booths. Who knows?
I didn't apply to any of them. And I used to do all three of them. I did all three of them for about 10 or 12 years. And this year I didn't apply to any of them.
Well, I applied to the same shows and see what happens. You know, I'm crossing my fingers for Coconut Grove.
I didn't apply to the Grove either this year. After last year, when they stacked the biased jury with members of NAIA and then juried out Trisco, Skip Enos, and myself, and let in the people that drill holes in rocks and put it on leather and call it a jewelry. I mean, Trisco did that show for 45 years in the same location. His application by far is better than any other jeweler on the circuit. And I think it's just horrible. I actually sent her a text before the jury and asked her, or before the closing date, and asked her if she was going to announce who was in her jury this year before the closing date of the application. She didn't even.
She's not doing that.
No, she didn't even respond to me.
She's not doing that after last year.
Well, no, last year she gave the names of the jury after she closed the application. Or no, you're right. She did it before, and she came to St. James Court and came and met me. And I told, and she's walking away. She says, "Okay, well, we'll see you in the spring." I said, "No, you won't see me." And she said, "How come?" And I said, "Because you have David Bernstrom, Carla Fox, and another NAI member on the jury." And she said, "Well, no, they're professional." I said, "There's no such thing as a professional blind jury. You know, if they know who the artists are, I don't care who they are, it's going to be bias." And it was.
Yeah, as much, as much as I want to say that you're not right about that, I think that you're more right about that than what people think.
I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, I've seen it happen time and time again. And it's just, it's a scam. There's no anonymous jury when the people in the jury know who they're jurying. It just isn't true.
You know, the thing that bugs me the most when I see who get into shows, I don't think that better or worse, is that you see the booth and you think about it for a little bit, and it's the same work. Then 5 years ago, and I think because I pay more attention to with photographers in general, I can say that it's most of the images are the same that you have 5 years ago, and they're
Yeah.
gonna put in anything new, and and uh and I try to put at least 20% of new images every year into my booth, and keep replacing whatever is slow mover with something newer, or even change the scale of the presentation. And it's really frustrated because people are just getting in based on reputation, and now what have they done lately? I think that's one of the things I like about Winter Park, that they actually go through the images and tell you can apply with things that's being older than 3 years.
Is it
So
3
you have to be
years or
showing some
18
kind of
months?
growth every year. So
Yeah. Yeah. And they're one of the few shows that actually pay attention, right? Most
So-
shows don't do that.
yeah. So that's my only complaint about it. I don't say that they're not good or anything bad about the people that get into the shows. It's just like you know, it disheartening because no matter how hard you work, when you go through that, you go like, what is the point, you know?
Right. Well, no
So
Coconut Grove. I guess we'll do Coconut Point instead.
Coconut Point could be a good show for you.
I know. I've
I
done
think
it.
that's one of the better. Yeah, I think it's one of Barrios Howard shows that he has. Coconut Point is probably, and that's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful mall.
Yeah. And where we stay with a friend, and I'll bet they're only a mile and a half from the mall. So you get that going for it. It's, a place to stay.
And it's a high-end mall also, which is kind of nice. So even even if Howard didn't make super lot advertising, you're going to get qualified buyers.
Right. Yeah. People that shop there have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Are you coming to
Don't ask
Florida
me
this
how
year?
Oh yeah, I'm
Are you-
ready. I'm paying. I got a camping ground that I pay monthly no matter what, and I'm going to bring the
Ah.
trailer in November down.
Oh, you have a trailer now. You stepped up. I didn't know
Yeah,
you had a trailer.
yeah, I bought a camping trailer so I can. And you know what I find out little by little is that I like to go to I want to get to Florida. I know I'm going to be there for 10 weeks, and I want to go to the same place every day after I'm not being jumping place to place every week, and just have a place that I can call home
Yeah.
for a few
Not a
months.
Great.
Walmart shopping center parking.
Yeah.
You're bringing
So
your
I
cat,
just
right?
what?
You're bringing your cats.
No, the cats are staying home. It's a 17-footer,
Oh,
and I cannot deal with 3 cats in a 17-footer. It's not going to happen.
I wonder what they
It's
have to
not
say
going
about it.
happen. They probably tossed me out of the camper.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. So your
And,
sister watches somebody like that?
what?
You have a relative that watches them?
I pay somebody to watch for them. They come every other day. It's not cheap, but
No.
it's not cheap. I can tell you that. But it's totally, my sister doesn't want to do it. My neighbor just moved back, and she could have done it, but I already signed up with the program. So if this next trip I work out fine, I would do it them. I would do it with them. If not, I will ask Gail to do it for me. So, but no, I cannot take the cats with me. They don't travel well. I will be in torture camp all the way to Florida, Then by the time they get used to the camper, it's time for them to come back up, and they're going to be crying all the way over here and all pissed off. So no.
Oh,
So,
You're
so at least
funny.
in here, they got lunch, they do whatever they want. The one thing that I'm doing different this year is I'm going to have the person that comes and clean my place every other week is going to come every 4 weeks to clean out the place. So when I come home, it's not a holy mess,
Oh, that's nice.
you know. Because it's getting that's one of the things when I got home. It was like I need to spend a whole day or 2 days cleaning the place, and I mean cleaning, and then you hire somebody to come and clean after you. So, and that's not something I want to be doing, especially because I might leave town almost right away after that. So, but we'll see. But it still depends on what shows I get in. But I will definitely will go down there no matter what, you know, because I just want to get away from the cold.
Yeah, I feel you there.
You know, if I feel more comfortable with the airlines, the smart thing would be to drive down there, leave the band in the airport, come back up, and then fly back down for the next show. But the airlines are kind of screwy, and they cost almost the same. They're staying down there anyhow.
That's what we do. We leave the vehicle there and fly back and forth, but we use Southwest. And
Mhm.
out of Indianapolis, Southwest is kind of a hub. So they have direct flights to almost everywhere I want to go. And we'll
Mhm.
book usually on the way back. If it's a Friday setup, we don't try to fly in on a Friday morning. We'll fly in the day before in case there's a problem, you know?
Yeah,
So we all,
that's what I was thinking myself. Like if I was going to fly, I would fly Thursday instead
yeah,
of
yep.
Friday.
And it's a better day. Friday, you got a lot of people flying. Thursday, not as many. So,
Yeah. Well, it crossed my mind doing it that way, but then I decided also I can use the time to take pictures. So that's the other thing. So we see.
good.
So, well, guys, I want to let you go. Have a good week. I will see you guys. I might not see you next week, Larry, because I got a job at 3 o'clock. But I will try to get to it as soon as I'm done hanging the stuff that I need to hang.
All right. Well, have a good show.
Stay
Yep.
safe,
Be
Oscar.
good. I'll try to. So far, it's working.
All right.
I keep
See you,
telling
bud.
you should stop here as you drive past Pittsburgh.
I will consider that depending on how far I want to drive. Be good.
All right.
Bye bye.
All right. So why don't we call it the end of a meeting?
the end of the meeting.
Sure.
The
Stop
shortest
recording.
the shortest
Stop.
meeting I've had in 6 months.
Stop recording. We can talk about music.
Okay. How do you stop?